to my second video. So in the first video, I kind of introduced why I wanted to be starting a channel, but I didn't really go into depth about what makes me qualified to be a big sister and instruct you guys on ways to grow personally, ways to recognize behaviors, ways to change and become the best versions of yourselves. And so I was going to dedicate this week's video to doing just that, to teaching you guys a little bit more about me and my qualifications, more like some of my past experiences that make me qualified, that make me a good person to teach you guys about life and possible ways to deal with it. So we can go back and get started all the way back at my birth. I was born a stubborn child, anal, stubborn, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I had obsessive compulsive disorder from a very young age, and I also had anxiety from a very young age. So I received both the diagnoses of OCD and depression around the age of 13, maybe 12. However, I know that it was really present in my life growing up. My grandma can tell you, my parents can tell you, anybody can tell you that I was just an OCD anal child. And I think a lot of those traits can be really, really helpful when harbored accurately. When you can learn about your quirks and utilize them to become the best versions of yourself, and not let them overcome you or overpower you. And I think I struggled with that a lot. So when I was in the 7th grade, so age 13, I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. Basically what happened to me was I was a little bit chunkier than most of the kids in my grade. I wouldn't say I was fat or anything, but I definitely had a little bit of baby fat. And I went to this school where if you weren't a size 0, you were not popular. There were only 80 kids in my grade, and so it was slim pickings, and the guys liked the really thin girls, and I didn't happen to be one of them. So we were learning about active shooters in my art class, and I was at a table with 4 people, and 2 of the guys had always kind of made fun of me, and the one guy had said to me, if there was an active shooter in here, Alyssa, I would use you as a shield because you're big enough to protect us all and nobody would care if you died. And I don't blame, him for saying that. At the time, it was really hurtful. And I don't blame him for that starting my eating disorder, but I definitely would say that's the catalyst to why I started dieting so heavily. So after that moment, I started to try to lose weight, and I did it in very extremist ways. I would wake up every morning at 3 and do an hour-and-a-half workout. So I would be done around 4:30. And then I would obsess about myself in the mirror. I would look for every bone, try to pick out all the parts of my spine, all of my ribs. And I would do that for a half hour. And then I would try to wear clothes that hid my body. And so this was age 13. And at the time I was seeing a therapist who wasn't very helpful. She was more dealing with some of my basic anxieties, which weren't really the problem at the moment. The problem was the eating disorder. And so I found a new therapist who I still go to. She is amazing, much more my style. So I've been going to therapy since the age of 11, if I messed that up. But I started going to my therapist that I currently go to at age 13. And it took me about a year to overcome my eating disorder. Basically, the catalyst to overcoming the eating disorder was one day I was having a panic attack in my room, and I was punching the wall, and my mom said, I can't take this anymore. You are getting to a really unhealthy level. I need you to get admitted into a hospital. And I was already the weird chubby girl at my school. I didn't want to be the weird chubby girl who was admitted into an eating disorder clinic. And if you've been admitted into an eating disorder clinic, there's no judgment or anything. That was just what went through my mind, and I was like, okay girl, you need to obviously change your behavior. Because up until then I'd been really sneaky about things. I would journal how much I'd eat, but I'd lie about it, or I'd throw my food away. So my eating disorder, I was 5'5" at the time. I'm now almost 5'7". But I went from 145 pounds to 99 pounds in less than 4 months. And so that was really hard for me. But I recovered from that. When I hit high school, I just got a group of friends and I felt cool about myself. And so I was beginning to not feel as bad about my body. And then something happened in between my junior and senior year that kind of relapsed my eating disorder back into a place that I didn't want it to be. So starting my senior year, I dropped back from like 135 pounds to 110, which isn't as severe. But the thing was, it's like the mental state, how I was mentally feeling. And the whole time throughout that, I did have like a body dysmorphic disorder. So I don't see what's really there. I see like very enlarged versions of myself. So I think that I'm much heavier than I am. And I'm working through that. But definitely that's like been a part of the issue. And so my senior year, I really struggled with my weight. I really struggled with my mental health, and I took that in to college with me. It was really hard to restrict what I was eating in college because a big part of like making friends and hanging out with people was like, let's go to this place and get some food. Let's go to the bar and get some drinks. So what I would do to manage my weight is binge and purge. So it changed from an eating disorder of anorexia nervosa to bulimia, which is rather common, that when you relapse, it kind of relapses into a different form. And so I was dealing with that, and my eating disorder brings up a lot of anxiety for me, and it brings up a lot of my OCD issues. So it definitely wasn't super healthy for me. And I thought I'd recovered from that. I really did. I was super ignorant to that fact. It was only like 2 weeks ago when I realized that I looked in the mirror and I finally was like, you deserve happiness because you're at this size. And I was like, excuse me, Alyssa? You deserve happiness no matter what size you're at. And that's when I realized that I wasn't ever fully recovered from my eating disorder, and that my anxiety, my OCD, and my eating disorder have controlled my life for so long. I had a very like defeatist mindset, like, oh, I have anxiety, so just deal with it. I have anxiety, so sometimes I'm going to blow up, or sometimes I can't go do a fun thing because I have anxiety. And that's the way it is, that's the way it's going to be. And I thought that was okay. I thought that was an okay perspective to hold. But I was depressed all the time, and I didn't understand why. And it's because that's not an okay perspective to hold. Like, it's not cool to think, oh, I get anxiety all the time, so I can't go do this fun thing with my friends or a partner of mine. I'm just going to have to lay in bed all day because I feel too fat to get out of bed and don't think I'm worthy to go be in front of people. That's not cool. That's definitely unhealthy behavior. And it wasn't until recently that I began to notice, like, Alyssa, you were like boxing yourself into, you have anxiety and there's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. This is who you are. You're a broken person. And I'm not a broken person. I'm not crazy. I mean, we're all a little crazy, but I'm not like unfixable. I'm not broken. I'm not unworthy. And for a long time, I had to like try to tell myself that. And so recently, it would be about 4 months ago, I started like faking it till you make it attitude. Like, well, I don't believe I'm worthy, but I'm just going to say it, because if not, then I don't know where this is going to take me. It's just going to get worse and worse. So I really started doing the fake it till you make it type of attitude. And it's been very, very helpful for me. So thank you, Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye. He is not the first person to do fake it till you make it, but he is the first person who, when he said fake it till you make it, I was like, I get it, because this guy isn't fake just because he's faking it till he makes it. I always thought to be my real authentic self, I needed to show everybody, like, when I was, you're a depressed person, or like, you're a sad, anxious person. But in reality, that's not the true me. That's the me that like my neurons want to go to. You know, that's the me that like my body jumps to be, but that's not who I am. And so along with my history of mental health issues, my slew of them, I also have recently dealt with a breakup with someone that mattered a lot to me, and we were together for almost 4 years, and things were pretty serious. And so I can give some big sis advice on like relationships, compromise, living with a partner, because we lived together for a long time, how to handle a breakup, getting back into the dating scene, like things like that. So I also feel qualified to like discuss those things with you. And as I mentioned in the first video, I received my Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. And so I definitely feel qualified to assist you all on like a basic level. I'm also, as I already mentioned, going into a master's program for cognitive behavioral psychology. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm pretty good at like the basics. I'm very compassionate and very empathetic, and I'm very understanding. And so I'm really good at like looking at things from different perspectives and trying to gain insight on why someone thinks or behaves in the way that they do, and how that is or is not conducive to their current life situation, and how they can fix that, which is why I think I would be good at giving y'all advice. Along with that, some of my other interests are in like fashion and music. I love music, so I do have a ukulele, and I love to sing, so I might throw in some fun videos for y'all. I buy a lot of stuff online, or I go to the thrift store all the time, even though I probably shouldn't. Well, the thrift store is fine because it's cheap, but like I probably shouldn't buy this stuff online. So I definitely have like some cool clothes I can show you guys. I just kind of want this to be like an advice column, or a way that people who are young or any age can recognize that they're not alone in the way that they think. That I often felt really alone. Like, I'm the only person who acts like this. I'm the only person who's sad like this. I'm the only person who can't leave their house because they feel too fat or unworthy to leave. I'm the only person who can't do X, Y, or Z because I'm insecure about my body. And in reality, that's just not the truth. There's a lot of us out there, and the thing that we need to focus on is how to work on that. I do think it's important to accept where you're at in life. Yes, I have this issue and it's causing me this problem, but I think it's extra important to say, how can I step outside of my comfort zone? It might not be comfortable at first, and work on this issue. How can I step outside of my comfort zone and learn how to become comfortable being uncomfortable? And how can I step outside of my comfort zone and learn how to forgive? And I think that my inclination to lean into like a Buddhist lifestyle helps with that for sure. It teaches you a lot about compassion and empathy, forgiveness, mindfulness, meditation, and respecting others. And so I definitely have like some basic like tips and tricks for people who are looking to get into mindfulness practice or meditation. I'm 99% sure that my next video is going to be about quarantine activities and quarantine mindset. But I also want to know, what do you want me to talk about? What kind of big sis advice can I give you? If I'm younger than you, what kind of little sis advice can I give you? If you don't know my age, good. That's how I would like it to stay. But I'm going to end this video today. I'm going to wrap things up, and I'm going to do it as I've decided I would like to do all my videos with the metta prayer. And as a reminder, the metta prayer is a Buddhist prayer, but it truly is just like a little saying that anybody, no matter your religious beliefs, can do. And so with that, may you be safe, may you be well, may you be happy, and may you be at peace. It was great talking with you all today. Please feel free to subscribe, like, leave a comment, give me some feedback. I love feedback, and I will see you hopefully next Sunday, if I'm on time, with another video about quarantine activities and quarantine mindset. Bye.